So imagine reading the 1939 Alcoholics Anonymous manual, but not as a self-help book. Like, what if you read it strictly as an industrial age engineering blueprint for a broken machine?
Right, which is such a fascinating way to look at it.
It really is. So welcome to today's deep dive, where we are taking you through exactly that. We are exploring what the text calls the atomic answer. Basically, what happens when your core processor of choice suffers a permanent meltdown?
And I think the craziest part is that this answer is completely devoid of moral judgment. It is a purely mechanical diagnosis.
Oh, totally. Just straight hardware failure.
Exactly. I mean, the manual defines the real alcoholic as suffering a two-part structural failure. First, there's an involuntary physical allergy, which is like this runaway feedback loop.
Where introducing the substance just triggers an unstoppable craving.
Right. And then second, which is honestly worse, is a mental obsession that completely overrides all survival data. Like, the hardware is literally telling the machine to keep running into a wall.
That is wild. I mean, to get a sense of how badly that hardware is failing, think about the last time you kept doing something you knew was bad for you.
Yeah, we all do it.
Right. But now imagine the negative feedback loop. You know, that little voice in your head screaming at you to stop is physically severed. And the manual actually categorizes users into 3 types here.
Yes, the operational parameters are really specific. About 86% of the population are moderate drinkers, so their control systems are fully intact.
Okay, so the vast majority of people.
Yeah. Then you have roughly 11.7% who are heavy drinkers. Now, they might be degrading their system with excessive use, but if you give them a strong enough incentive, they can stop.
Like a severe doctor's warning or almost losing a job?
Exactly. The control mechanism still functions for them. But for the real alcoholic, that final 2.3%, willpower just doesn't exist. No incentive works at all because the mechanism to process that incentive is just gone.
Which sounds like an exaggeration until you read the manual's Jaywalker analogy.
Oh man, the Jaywalker.
Yeah, it describes this guy who obsessively dodges heavy traffic, right? He gets hit, fractures his skull, and the very second he leaves the hospital, he runs right back into the street.
Because it is not a lack of information about the danger.
Exactly. His risk assessment hardware is completely fried. But wait, if the core processor is permanently destroyed, how does a mechanical blueprint fix that? I mean, you can't just think your way out of a broken motherboard.
No, you can't, which is why the manual doesn't even try to justify a simple repair. It dictates a total hardware fix in the form of what they call an entire psychic change.
So the broken unit basically has to undergo an administrative reorganization.
Yes, that is the perfect way to phrase it. Look at it this way. Their own self-will, their attempt to play the director, is the actual source of the mechanical friction that is burning up the engine.
Okay, so to stop the friction, they have to completely outsource their operational logic.
Right. They have to accept a new employer, which the text defines as a higher power.
So they stop trying to control the system. They literally lack the hardware to control. And that instantly cools the engine down.
That is the exact mechanism. And I think people misunderstand this part. The result isn't some agonizing daily struggle where they are white-knuckling against the urge.
Wait, really? It isn't a constant fight?
No, not at all. The goal is a position of neutrality. The problem isn't being fought anymore. It is removed from the system entirely.
Oh, wow. So in this new state, the urge to drink triggers an automatic recoil, just like pulling your hand from a hot stove.
Exactly. It requires zero active effort.
Okay, I am tracking the logic of outsourcing the operational control, but, I mean, no machine runs forever without maintenance.
True.
If the friction is gone, how do they keep the engine from degrading again over time?
Well, the blueprint demands a really rigorous real-time maintenance loop. You have step 10, which acts as the daily diagnostic check. It detects errors like resentment or fear before they build up new friction.
And then step 11 is the daily calibration.
Right, keeping the power flowing from that external new employer. But step 12 is the absolute linchpin of the whole system.
Transmitting the blueprint to other broken units.
Exactly.
And this is where the engineering gets brilliant, because helping other broken units isn't framed as, like, moral altruism. It is the mandatory mechanism keeping the sponsor's own engine running.
Right. Without it, their system fails again. They are bound by what the manual likens to the Eddie Rickenbacker principle.
Oh, referencing the World War I pilot who survived weeks lost at sea with his crew.
Yeah, the engineering reality there is that shared peril and absolute reliance on a common solution acts as the only industrial cement strong enough to keep the entire structure from collapsing.
So by viewing human behavioral failure through this rigid 1930s mechanical lens, you strip away the guilt and the moral failing entirely.
Yeah, you weren't a bad person. You were just a broken machine requiring a very specific design for living.
It is a ruthless hardware fix, but an effective one. Which leaves me wondering, and I want you to ponder this as you go about your day.
I love where this is going.
If this administrative reorganization can successfully rewire the most catastrophic failures of human willpower regarding alcohol, could we apply this exact same mechanical blueprint to our modern societal obsessions?
Oh, that is a great question.
Could it fix the fried risk assessment loops of our digital addictions? Like, next time you find yourself doom scrolling despite knowing the damage it's doing, ask yourself, is your check engine light on, or is your core processor already fried?